One of the things I always talk about is patience. I've been doing this a long time. They weren't as big of conferences, but I remember when I was doing conferences and I would talk about smartphones and most of the room did not have one. They had a pager, you know? And how many people here had a BlackBerry? Raise your hands. Remember when you said you would never get an iPhone because you needed the buttons? This is what I do for a living. What I do for a living is I pay attention to people 24/7, 365. For all the talking I do, every minute you don't see me, I'm listening. I'm watching. People are very good at saying what they won't do, but I already know they will. There are people in this audience who right now in their head say they will never get on TikTok, and I know you will. This is what I spend my time on. This is what I spend my time on. Because since I was a little child, I've been chasing your attention. When I was selling lemonade, I didn't sell the lemonade. I made the signs, and I put the signs on the trees and the poles. When I worked baseball card shows, I spent hours forming my table to try to figure out how to stop you at my table, not the person's next. When I worked at my dad's liquor store and I stood behind the register, when I was supposed to ring up people, I would watch people walk into the store and I would watch which aisle they would go to, what bottle they would grab, why. It's why I read all your DMs and your texts. Everybody gives me a lot of credit. Gary, you're so nice. Thank you for replying. Thank you for liking. It's amazing. No, thank you for commenting. It gives me insight. I understand. I listen. Here's what I can tell you about people. The big things that are happening in our society. Number one, people value time over everything. Consciously and subconsciously. Time. Convenience wins all the time. Convenience. We do not want to do things that we know can be done faster. People talk about privacy. We all give up privacy every day for convenience. Speed. No friction. Why do I produce content on every platform? Because I want you to consume it how you want to consume it. You want to listen to a podcast while you run? I'm here. You're a good reader and want to read on LinkedIn? I'm here. You want to put it on your Apple TV and throw it up and watch YouTube on your television? I'm here. Short? Here. Long? Here. No friction. People sit around, they have all these big ambitions to be an influencer or to build a big business, and then they pick one platform, and that's where they spend all their time. Do you know how many people here would be in big trouble if Instagram disappeared tomorrow? How can you be reliant on one platform? Tila Tequila and Dane Cook won on MySpace. They didn't respect Facebook and Twitter. That was a mistake. YouTube, Snap, they ebb and flow. But like real estate, when there's a new platform that has a lot of attention, it's a good deal. When you can buy beachfront property, It goes up if that area becomes big. I spend an enormous amount of time looking at underpriced attention, the way that people look at underpriced real estate. I believe the current underpriced attention in the world is LinkedIn and TikTok. When I wrote Crushing It, my last book, the yellow one right there, I just wrote that 18 months ago. Not a mention of TikTok and LinkedIn. Not a mention. Because I saw a lot of hands go up and that made me feel really good. One more time, how many people consume my content? Thank you. So you guys know that I say the same thing over and over. I'm showing you videos from 8 years ago when I had a bad haircut and was a little chubbier saying the same shit. That will never change. Hard work, kindness, caring about your employees, always thinking about the customer. It's all going to stay the same forever until I die. What won't be the same is how important Snapchat is versus Facebook versus YouTube versus Instagram. It always will evolve. This is why I want you guys to listen very carefully to me. One of the most fascinating things that have happened in the world in the last 10 years is that real celebrities 10 years ago made fun of YouTube celebrities, Instagram celebrities, or podcast celebrities. Real models real models 7 years ago made fun of Instagram models until they didn't. I'm gonna say something that's very important to me and everybody in this room. Creating content on social networks for everybody in this room, regardless if you're part of the ministry, whether you're in business and to business, B2B, whether you're B2C, whether you're part of the government, whether you're an individual, for every person in this room, from every angle, from every person, creating content on social networks at scale is the single great opportunity in our society, and everybody in this room, everybody, including me, will regret in 15 years not making more. Because you do understand other technologies are coming. You do understand that when voice comes along and Google Home and Apple Home and Alexa, when voice comes, we're not gonna be looking at our phone as much, just like that gentleman realizes maybe I don't have to have it. When you can say, Alexa, where's the best restaurant? Alexa, send me toilet paper. Google, what's the weather? Think about all the things you go to your phone that takes 25 seconds, but Alexa can answer in 2. You will choose Alexa over your phone. Remember I told you. When we do that, we will be reliant on your brand not being discovered in Explore or showing up third on Google. This is a very important time in communication history. The reason you're seeing things like America and London and India and all sorts of things happening in the world, different things that we didn't expect, is because of communication. Communication has always been the forefront of what happens in the world. Almost everything you believe right now was put into your head. By your parent, by a piece of content, by something else. My friends, please do not waste this conference, the fact that we have this time together, to not let this be the time that you finally hear me. You've been listening to my content, but you don't hear me. You've been listening to my content, but you don't live what I'm telling you to do. You know, the reality is trillions of dollars are being spent on looking better, feeling better, but the reality is eating well and working out at the gym every day is the actual answer. Yet people are looking for celery or apple vinegar or surgery to execute that for them. And the reality is that's basically how I see business. The reality is it's actually quite simple. And more importantly, for everybody in this room, we are here during an extremely special time because this device is wildly underrated by all of us in this room. This is a far bigger deal than I think we can understand. How many people here are older than 40 years old? Raise your hands. I'll raise mine. So for the people that just raised their hands, you're aware because we lived in the world pre-internet. You're aware how remarkable the internet actually is. For the people in this room, how many people under 30? Raise your hands. No concept. You've had it so good, which is amazing. I love it. The reality is that it's difficult for you even to know how much opportunity you actually have because you've only known a world with the internet. The internet is one of the stunning all-time most important innovations to hit the human race. It has created a scenario where I can be in New York producing content on a video and many people, how many people here, by show of hands, consume my content? How many people? For this many people to consume my content at the volume of the content that I put out 30 years ago would have required me to either buy a media company for hundreds of millions of dollars or get lucky that I got chosen to star in a show that went global. It was inconceivable. Yet, every single person here can leave this conference and make a video or a picture or write words on two platforms right now, LinkedIn and TikTok, have no awareness. Nobody knows who you are. You haven't started yet, or if you have, you're bad at it. And yet TikTok and LinkedIn, with no audience, will reward you and have more people see it because there's so many people paying attention to it, yet there's not enough content being put in. And so you get organic reach at scale. When I see that, it reminds me of everything I've ever done since I've been a professional. When I started building my family's wine business for them, it was email, it was Google AdWords. Later, it was Google Search Organic for me. And then when my career really took a different change, it was YouTube and Twitter. It was then Facebook, Snap, Instagram. My friends, this has now been going on for a long time. And social media, it's been going on for over a decade. The concept is very simple. There's attention, and then there's what you say. For everybody in this conference, the key is to figure out how they communicate. Are you good at video? Are you good at audio? Are you good at the written word? I promise you, for the far majority of you, the biggest breakthrough you could possibly have at this conference is to figure out what kind of communicator are you. Because everybody aspires for video because that's what we're all paying attention to, yet some people in here are remarkable writers, but they shy away from it because they don't think that's the way to break through. They think there's rules. Here's the rules. If you're unable to communicate, you can't be heard, then nobody knows what you've got to sell. Whether you're selling funding for a charity or running for government or a business. Communication is the variable. Communication is the variable. By the way, it's always been that way. What's remarkable is every single person in this room now can do it. My bigger question is, why aren't you?
You know, as an entrepreneur or a small team, it's great to create the content, but actually getting it edited and, you know, cut down and everything. Like even today I've taken loads of videos, but once it's edited, where do you start to churn out the 25 that you recommend a day?
Where do you post it?
No, like do you recommend like Planoly or Hootsuite or any scheduling apps to help become a team whilst you build a team?
No. I think you should open Twitter and post a photo. Let me tell you, Kai, where everybody screws up. People look for efficiencies where what's needed is context. My friends, let me promise you how not to do social media. If you post the same exact photo with the same exact word to all 10 of the prominent platforms, they won't act the same way. You have to write the copy and you have to edit the content for the psychological nature and the utilitarian nature of the platform. For the 31 minutes you save by hitting one button and blasting it out, you're wasting actual growth.
So you would recommend, because I'm learning to be still also and just take time to balance. So let's say it was 1 hour a day to sit and post individually.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep. Whatever gets you to post, I post my content. Do you know how busy I am? I post it, I write it, I reply to you. Every reply you ever got ever from Gary V is me. Not an intern, me. That's why I have a Team Gary V account and other accounts in case we want to engage where I'm not. But if it's me, it's me. If I have time, you have time. Kai.
Thank you.
You're welcome.